She trusted him completely, and everyone around her believed she was safe. Nothing about their life seemed unusual, and no one imagined that anything was being recorded at all. From the outside, the house looked ordinary. It was quiet, orderly, and predictable. The same routine repeated every day, and nothing ever appeared out of place. He handled the things she struggled with most. Appointments were scheduled, paperwork was filled out, and decisions were made with confidence. When something felt confusing or overwhelming, he stepped in without hesitation. Over time, she depended on him for nearly everything. That dependence did not feel dangerous. It felt practical. It felt necessary. Because it developed gradually, no one questioned it. People described him as attentive and patient. Someone responsible. Someone who had taken on more than his share because he cared enough to do so. That reputation mattered. Because of it, trust settled in easily. Once it did, it stayed. The first signs that something was wrong were small and easy to dismiss. An appointment was missed without a clear reason. A detail changed slightly when a story was repeated. There was a pause before answering a simple question. Each time, there was an explanation. Each one sounded reasonable. Schedules were confusing. Stress caused mistakes. Nothing felt urgent enough to challenge. And because he had always seemed reliable, no one pressed further. No one wanted to imagine that something was wrong. He often spoke on her behalf. Questions were answered quickly, sometimes before she had a chance to respond. Conversations were redirected smoothly whenever they became uncomfortable. It did not feel controlling. It felt efficient. When concerns were raised, they were brushed aside as misunderstandings or fatigue. People reminded themselves that he was helping, that he was doing what needed to be done. And when people believe someone is being cared for, they stop looking closely. Time passed quietly like that, without confrontation or suspicion. Nothing forced a closer look. Nothing demanded attention. The truth did not come out because someone finally spoke up. It did not surface through an argument or a dramatic discovery. It appeared by accident. During a routine review, someone noticed a file that did not seem to belong. It was not clearly labeled. It was not stored where it should have been. At first, it did not raise concern, but curiosity lingered. Inside the file was a recording. At first, it sounded ordinary. There were no raised voices, no obvious distress, just normal moments, captured calmly and without interruption. Someone decided to listen more carefully. That was when the meaning changed. There was no violence on the recording, no shouting, no chaos. That absence was what made it unsettling. The voice was steady. Instructions were repeated patiently. Decisions were made without discussion. Control was exercised quietly, again and again. Boundaries were assumed. Compliance was expected. Consent was never clearly given, only taken for granted. It was not a single moment taken out of context. It was repetition, a pattern unfolding slowly over time. As the recording continued, earlier details began to make sense. The missed appointments, the shifting explanations, the silence when questions were asked directly. What once seemed like confusion now felt intentional. What had looked like care began to feel calculated. The realization did not arrive all at once. It settled gradually, like weight. Trust had replaced oversight. Responsibility had been mistaken for protection. When people started to reconsider what they thought they knew, memories shifted. Statements sounded different. Details that once seemed harmless took on new meaning. By the time serious questions were finally asked, the damage had already occurred. What disturbed everyone most was not only what was captured on the recording, it was how ordinary it sounded, how easily it blended into daily life without drawing attention. Nothing about it demanded urgency at the time. Nothing signaled danger. And that was the point. Trust is powerful. It can make people feel safe. It can quiet doubt and smooth over discomfort. But when trust goes unquestioned, it can also hide things no one expects. It can allow control to grow unnoticed. It can silence warning signs before they are ever recognized. Sometimes the truth does not come from confrontation or force. Sometimes it emerges quietly, from a file never meant to be opened, from a recording never meant to be heard. And when it does, the most unsettling realization is not what was done. It is how long no one saw it happening. People later asked how something like this could go unnoticed for so long. The answer was uncomfortable. It happened because nothing looked dramatic. Because care can resemble control when no one is watching closely. Because trust often feels safer than doubt. Small moments were overlooked, small questions went unasked, and small concerns were explained away until they no longer felt small at all. By the time clarity arrived, it came quietly, without relief or satisfaction. Only with the understanding that awareness delayed can carry consequences that cannot be undone. Long after the recording ended, the silence it revealed continued to echo. Afterward,